All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Nathan T. Jenkins II, and I am the family and financial advocate for Next Generation Gear Up with DeSoto Independent School District. And I wanted to have this virtual panel discussion with some professional individuals who can speak about HBCUs and why they are important, and why, if your student or family member is actually considering attending an HBCU, why that could be a good choice for them. And so what we'll do is that we have some individuals who are admission reps for HBCUs. We have a couple of graduates from HBCUs, and then I have a couple of students who are currently at an HBCU that are going to be joining us on the call as well, so they can give their perspectives on what it means to actually be an HBCU and why they chose to go to an HBCU. So by all means, if you have any questions, please make sure that you utilize our chat. I apologize that this particular session is on Zoom. As you know, we're still in a pandemic. I'm pretty sure everybody on this call is zoomed out. They are cameraed out, and would love to be able to get back to each other face to face and do it like we used to. But unfortunately, that's not what we have going on now. So this is the best thing that we can do. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to introduce, we'll start with our admissions reps. That's what we'll do. We'll start with them. And so what we're going to do is just ask them to introduce themselves, also have them to give a little bit of information about their individual institutions, why they feel that their institutions are the best. And I hope that you would rep your institution, because you should feel like your institution is the best, because I feel like that I'm the best. So listen, do what you got to do. So again, we want to welcome everyone and appreciate everyone for taking out the time to come. So as I look, I think what we'll do is that we're going to start with Jackson State University. She was the first one on, and so we'll make sure that we start there, and then we'll just move from there. So again, introduce yourself, please. Tell us a little bit about Jackson State, why Jackson State is a good institution, and then from there, we'll go on with some more questions, some more introductions.
All right. I'm glad I'm starting first. All right, my name is Bria Job. I serve as an admissions counselor and recruiter at Jackson State University. And why I say choose Jackson State, we were founded in 1877 as a seminary originally, and we located ourselves to the downtown metropolitan area of Mississippi. We're very big on education, you guys. We produce some of the greatest people. If you don't believe me, we make sure that our students are JSU ready. JSU ready has been a little bit different from your typical ready, like for real. If you don't believe me, take our 2017 graduate, Lamonte Pierce. He created the straw that filters lead out of water on our campus in our 3D printing lab. He patented and sold it to Walmart. And you can even take our recent Miss Jackson State University, Miss Deja Day. She graduated with a 6-figure job at Amazon. A lot of people spend their whole lives trying to make 6 figures, and she did that at the age of 22. So there's just 2 notable people that I threw out there because, they're not too much older than you all. And not only that, I mean, we have a plethora of things to do on campus. We make sure it's a home away from home at Jackson State. We have a Starbucks, it's a Dexo Magic, it's like a soul food place, a Twisted Pretzel, Subway Connection, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, movie theater, gaming room, bowling alley, hair salon, nail salon, and barbershop, all located on our campus in the downtown metropolitan area.
What did she say?
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I muted her. Go right ahead.
There's plenty of things to do on campus. We're in the downtown metropolitan area, so it is a tourist attraction. So being that it's a tourist attraction, we've had celebrities come out before. We had Dirk to come for our homecoming. We had Lil Wayne, Cardi B, Drake, some of the people. And we're very family oriented at Jackson State. We hold our students accountable. We're gonna walk with you. We're not gonna walk for you, but we'll walk with you in your journey, And 2, it's a 15:1 student teacher ratio. So you won't be a number at Jackson State. We will know you. We will know you by name. The teacher will know you too. So if you're normally an A and B student and you're making D's out of, all of a sudden, they're going to pull you to the side. Hey, what's going on? Because we understand there's a lot of things that play a role in the student's education, whether it be personal issues, family issues, financial issues, or anything like that. But yeah, that is exactly why I say choose Jackson State, because it is the only D that is the best. Okay. But yeah,
Listen, Miss Bria Joe is starting it out with Jackson State University. Listen, those are some shoes that need to be filled. And so I think we're going to stay here in the great state of Texas, and we're going to go down a little ways down to Wiley College. And I am proud of Wiley College because my grandmother went to Wiley College. May she rest in peace. So I know a little bit about Wiley College, but I am glad to see that Wiley College is on here. And we do have Miss Tanrika Smith, who is going to let us know a little bit about Wiley College and why Wiley College should be your choice.
Well, first, I just want to say good afternoon, DeSoto Eagles, right? I love talking to you all, and we have so many students who have attended Wiley College from DeSoto ISD, currently are attending and just thriving overall. So if you're looking for an institution that's not too far away from home that you can get to on a quarter tank of gas, Wiley College definitely is a great option for you. Just a little bit about us. We are the oldest HBCU west of the Mississippi River. We have a little over 15 majors on campus, but we definitely have a hands down, a family-oriented environment with a 15-to-1 student to teacher ratio. When you talk about the mission and focus of our institution, hands down, it's about producing leaders who have an intentional focus on social good and leadership. So what do I mean by that? When you talk about our history, you know, most people who have saw the movie The Great Debaters know that Wiley College produces excellence, especially when it comes in the realm of public speaking. So whether that is you know, our actual debate team who recently became the first Pi Kappa Delta National Speech and Debate Tournament, or even looking back to our history at 1935, certainly we have done a stellar job. And then even moving on to the creation of Texas Southern University's law school, one of our graduates, Heman Sweat, challenged the state of Texas to create a law school and create opportunities for African-American, not only in the state of Texas, but around the world and abroad. So if you're looking for an institution that is going to meet you where you are, definitely Wiley College is an amazing option. And then our student life and our Greek life, hands down, we have some of the oldest Greek letter chapters, not just in the country, but in the world. So if you're looking for a premier institution to get a family-oriented experience, Wiley College is an option. I will tell you that I'll waive every student from DeSoto ISD's application tonight, and we'll give you a $2,500 scholarship just for coming to Wiley College. Thank you.
Listen, I don't know. I've heard it say before, but money talk and all the other stuff, we'll just let it be what it is. Listen, Wiley College is coming strong, but no, we thank you so much for that introduction. Now we're going upstate a little bit, all the way to Nashville, Tennessee. And my parents, my father, my stepmom, they live in Nashville. So I've got the opportunity to visit Tennessee State several times at football games and things like that. So I am so glad to have Tennessee State on. And I'm going to now allow Miss Dr. Carjamin Scott, who is going to represent Tennessee State and let us know what's going down at TSU.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nathan, for the opportunity to speak about Tennessee State University. And thank you, everyone, audience members, for taking the time to learn about our institution today. So Tennessee State University has been around for over 100 years. We started as an agricultural and industrial state normal school. We have a quality academic a number of quality academic departments. We have healthcare, nursing, business, biology, a number of majors where you could become the next doctor or the next nurse or the next teacher. We have a number of graduates who have attended Tennessee State, such as Oprah Winfrey, such as Dr. Levi Watkins, such as a number of athletes. Speaking of athletics, we're an NCAA Division I institution. And our head football coach is Coach Eddie George, who's a former Heisman Trophy winner, as well as a former Tennessee Titan. Our football team actually plays in the Nissan Stadium, which is the same stadium that the Titans play in. And out of all HBCUs, this is a really well-kept secret. Tennessee State sends the most students to the NFL, the most football players to the NFL out of all HBCUs. And not only will you have a quality education from a high quality institution, but you'd also be in what Forbes has ranked as #3 top best booming cities. Everybody's moving to Nashville right now. So why wouldn't it be you too? We have Alliance Bernstein, Amazon, Google, Nissan, HCA Healthcare, Cracker Barrel Company, Nissan Company, just to name a few. And our students are completing externships there, and 75% of them are starting their careers there. So why not join us here at Tennessee State University? Our reputation speaks for itself, and we would love for you to become a Tiger.
Thank you so much, Dr. Scott. I appreciate you giving us some information about Tennessee State University. Now, I'm going to come back to our admissions representatives in a little bit and ask them a couple of questions that hopefully our parents will be able to get some information more about the schools and maybe ask some questions to our recruiters. But I have two individuals that I'm very proud of. They are graduates of an HBCU here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They both graduated from Paul Quinn College. And so I'm going to start ladies first with Ms. Chaz Sanders. Chaz is one of my favorite students, and she'll probably tell you she's my favorite student, even though the other students, they argue about that. But I can definitely say she is one of my favorite students. And so I'm going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself. And Chaz, if you could, I want you to talk a little bit about, since you did go to an HBCU, what your experience was. And now that you've graduated, how has life been since you've graduated? And are you happy that you did go to an HBCU?
Hello, everyone. My name is Chaz. I attended Paul Quinn College and graduated in the fall of 2019. I definitely enjoyed my experience at an HBCU. It definitely wasn't anything I expected, but in like a good way. Overall, after graduating, I would definitely say that I am happy. I think I learned a lot with just being in that environment around people that look like me, who can help me in different ways that I couldn't have imagined, with academics, with personal life, life after college, all of that. What was the rest of the question? Talk about?
Yeah, just talk about, so you told me about how it was once you graduated and what your experience was when you were there. So let me go to Big Mike, or I shouldn't say Big Mike, Michael Edwards. I'm gonna be professional here. Let me go to Michael Edwards and talk to him. Mike, if you would please introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your experience at Paul Quinn and how it's been since you graduated from an HBCU.
Okay, well, I appreciate you for extending the offer, But like he said, I am Big Mike. I do go by Big Mike, but my name is Michael Edwards. I'm from the South Side of Chicago. And I came down to Dallas and attended Paul Quinn College in 2014. And from then, I felt like I've been with a family, Going to an HBCU, I feel like was the best decision I could have made, especially coming from where I came from. And the options that I did have, it played out in my favor, It really made me feel like somebody was actually praying for me. So HBCU kind of saved my life in a sense. So, it was a great experience. And honestly, Jenkins, if I had to, I'd do it all over again, with Paul Quinn College and the way you guys helped with everything, It was truly an experience.
All right, great. Now, one of the questions that I would like to ask our admissions reps, and one of you ladies, either one, could take this question. So there has been stated, I have heard it myself, I don't subscribe to it, but it has been stated before that one of the reasons why students should not attend an HBCU is because the education from an HBCU is inferior when it comes to a PWI or predominantly white institution. So if one of you ladies could actually take the opportunity to speak to that, to try to either dispel some of the myths, or if you've heard that before, if you could talk to us a little bit about what your thoughts are and what your opinions are when it comes to an education from an HBCU.
I don't mind starting, Mr. Jenkins. So the truth of the matter is, if HBCUs didn't exist, we'd have to create them for African Americans to thrive. 80% of all Black doctors and dentists come from HBCUs. 50% of all attorneys and judges come from HBCUs. That's in comparison to the number of non-HBCU institutions. There's only 100 or so of us. However, our African-American students are thriving at a greater level, and the statistics have proven it time and time again, even in the year 2022. Our vice president graduated from an HBCU. Members of our Black Caucus, over 65% of them graduated from HBCUs. Again, I dispel that myth. It's a myth. It's statistically proven that that's not the truth. And then also, when you choose an HBCU, you choose a family, like Michael had mentioned. And speaking of family, I was really impressed with your alma mater because I recently read an article about how Paul Quinn is inviting families to come to college together. You guys have a new initiative. And that just further proves my point of we're a family. You have a great network here. With that network, you know, it determines your net worth, the network that you are a part of. And because of that, you have access to opportunities that you otherwise may not have had in an institution that was not built for you. We know that that's why our universities were built, were to teach and produce quality African-American and marginalized groups. If they didn't exist, we'd have to create them even now in 2022. And they were created back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, because we weren't even allowed to get any type of education at all because of the color of our skin.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Anyone else want to answer that question or dispel the myth, or have you heard that or anything you would like to add to that response?
No, I think Dr. Scott hands down hit it right on the mark in terms of what HBCUs have to offer. The only other statistic I would just like to add, when you talk about our 103 institutions that exist overall, HBCUs are only enrolling 17% of all African-American graduates. So the reality of it is that if you come to an HBCU, you put yourself in a position to, network with individuals who will make it, right? And so that's the whole point of college, beyond just getting a degree from an institution, but it's also about building your network. Your network is your net worth. Always remember that.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Mike and Chaz, if you don't mind, since you guys have graduated, have you found it very difficult to be able to find the career that you started out with, as far as what your major was in college, or have you found any challenges or had any challenges when it comes to, finding the job that you want or anything like that because you have graduated from HBCU?
Well, I'll go first if Chaz don't mind. But honestly, I think for me, it was challenging. I'm not going to lie about it. It was difficult. I don't think that was the HBCU to blame, though. I think that was things that I had to go through for myself, for me to learn as growing up as a man. So I took things as they came and, I made adjustments, which I got that from coming up in the HBCU, learn how to re-rock when I need to, switch positions when I need to, whatever it may entitle. I was able to maneuver from doing my radio personality thing to where I found the passion in working with kids. So now I'm working with DISD and being a teacher right now, learning to become a teacher. So I think, in a long story short, it really helped me to be able to go from one position to the next, but it wasn't because of the HBCU. It was because of the things that I had to go through.
Thank you, sir. Chaz, what about yourself?
Yeah, from my experience, from my major and what I'm doing now, it wasn't hard for me to find a job, but that's just because at Paul Quinn, we had internships. And so each semester I had a different opportunity to learn something. And each internship, I took something and carried it over to the next one. So at the end, it built up all the way until my senior year. And I was interning and was able to secure a job like that. I definitely think my HBCU prepared me overall for interviews, networking, all the things that I would need out there to get a job or to get a position. I will say, I think everybody's experience is different. Like Michael talked about, it was a little more challenging for him to get a job. I know a few people who it was challenging for to get a job after college. I would not say it was because of the HBCU experience either, but for me, attending Paul Quinn and being able to have those opportunities where I was allowed to intern with different companies and some outside of my major, which I think helped a lot because it instilled in me that even though you may not be where you want to be, you keep pushing and you take the information or the knowledge and whatever else comes with it. And you take all of that information and build towards, once you get in the rooms where you want to be and you meet the people that you want to meet, you'll have a diverse or overall, you'll be well-rounded basically. So you'll not only have experiences that may align you with a position that is for a specific job, but you'll also have other opportunities where you can say, well, I've been here, and although it wasn't a part of my background or what I wanted to go into, I've learned I learned some knowledge from them, which contributed to where I am now. So I definitely think that my HBCU helped me along that way and taught me patience too, because sometimes, like if you are after graduation, you're waiting for a job, they definitely taught me to, do what you have to do until you can do better or until you get where you want to be. So I definitely think my HBCU kind of set me up pretty well.
Good answer, Chad. Listen, I think I taught you well. How about that? I do have some questions that some of our parents have asked, and these questions are specifically for our institution reps. The first question says, what are colleges and universities looking for in future students? So one of you ladies would like to take that as far as your institution. What specifically are you looking for in new students?
So one thing that I'm really proud of at Tennessee State is that we're a land-grant institution, we're a historically Black college and university, and we're a public university. We're also one of the lowest costing universities here in the state of Tennessee. And so our admissions requirement is students need to have at least a 2.5 GPA. We're currently test optional or test blind, meaning if you've taken the ACT or SAT, you don't have to submit it for admission. However, if you do submit it, then it better alerts our academic teams on what courses you should be taking. The types of students that we're looking for, since we're a public university, we're a land-grant institution, and we're an HBCU, are any students that fit our admissions requirements. We have an open enrollment. We also have rolling admission, so we don't have an application deadline. So we believe that every student should have the chance to study at TSU as long as they meet our admissions requirements.
And Dr. Scott, off the top of your head, what are those admission requirements?
Just a 2.5 GPA. We're test blind or test optional, so you don't have to submit any test scores. If you do submit them, then it better alerts our academic team on what courses you should be taking your freshman year and beyond. But you really just need at least a 2.5 GPA. Now, if you want to get into nursing or our very prestigious Dr. Levi Watkins program, then there are separate requirements for those programs, but general admission is a 2.5 GPA.
Ms. Smith, what about Wiley? What are the admission requirements and what do you guys typically look for in future students?
So we look for students who simply have a desire to want to be the best in whatever it is that you do. So as an admissions counselor, as a recruiter, we love to have everybody. But I always tell students that if you're not looking to be the best at what you do, please don't come to Wiley. So that's number one. When it comes to our admissions requirements, you must have a 2.0 GPA in order to be admitted. And then we have a program called the Summer Bridge Program for students who don't meet those admissions requirements. So what that is you have the opportunity to get 12 college credit hours within 5 weeks. And with successful completion of the program, we'll give you a $1,000 scholarship to be applied towards your balance for the fall. The benefit in that is that, if you're already showing signs of not academically being prepared, that's okay. right? During Summer Bridge will give you all of the tools that you need in order to be successful.
All right, thank you very much. Bria, what about at Jackson State? What are the requirements and what do you guys typically look for when it comes to new students?
All right, when we are looking at new students, we just need students that are teachable. I mean, that just willing to learn and, you know, gain the knowledge that we have for them at Jackson State University. As of now, we are test optional. So if the students have not taken the ACT or SAT, they can be admitted with a 2.0 or higher on their GPA. But our GPA that we look at is a CPC GPA. We don't look at your whole transcript. We look at your college preparatory classes. Those include your English, mathematics, science, social studies, foreign languages, technology class, those things like that. And the good thing about our requirements for those courses is if you have a foreign language course and it's consecutive, like a Spanish 1, Spanish 2, French 1, French 2, and it's a C or better, you can come to college with college credits already. We'll take that. You won't take foreign languages again at Jackson State University. And also too, if you have taken the ACT, our scholarships begin at a 3.0 and 21 on the ACT. Of course, the more scholarship offer, the better the GPA or and ACT or ACT or SAT test score. But definitely, we just require it since we're test optional for fall 2022 school year.
Thank you very much, madam. Chaz and Mike, I'm going to get a little personal with you guys. Hope you don't mind. But the question that I had now is something that parents probably need to know in regards to sometimes, depending on what your student has done in school, as far as their coursework and things like that, you can get accepted into the school of your choice. Sometimes where the problem lies is when it comes to finances, because we all know that going to college is not free. It can be, but typically it is not, because a lot of students do not apply for scholarships and they don't take advantage of some of the programs or the money that's out there. So in your experience, did you guys, while you were in school, did you have loans? Did you take financial aid? And if so, how has that impacted you, or how do you think that will impact you going forward in your careers and things of that sort?
I'll start. I definitely did have financial aid. I definitely took some loans. I think I had a scholarship, maybe 1 or 2. But as far as how it's going to impact me in the future, I mean, I'll just have to pay my loans off, which I'm currently doing now that they got the 0 interest on there. Thank the Lord. But yeah, I definitely took some loans. Fortunately, with Paul Quinn, I didn't have to take as many loans. So I graduated with less debt than the average student who attends a 4-year university. So that's like a plus. But yeah, I definitely would suggest applying to a lot of scholarships. Do that before you attend any school. And then once you get into school, if you slack a little bit and you haven't started, definitely apply to some scholarships because it will help in the long run.
Big Mike, what about yourself?
Yeah, I think me and Chad's situation is kind of similar, honestly. You know, I had my fair share of loans and I had my fair share of scholarships throughout college. But one thing I wish I would have known beforehand was how important the scholarships was going to be coming out of high school. Coming out of high school, I kind of just, you know, hopped in the car and just drove down to Dallas and, you know, decided to go to college. I didn't really plan ahead to even think about scholarships. So we ran into a few roadblocks to where I end up having to take a year off of school. But getting back and taking out extra loans, it's kind of something I always knew that I was going to have to pay back, and just that was the responsibility I was willing to take, as in working towards getting my degree. So, you know, I honestly would say, just get on it now, you know, just get as many scholarships as you can now, and it'll help in the long run.
Thank you so much, sir. So I have a question from a parent for our admissions reps, which is a very good question. The question is from Ms. Tiffany, and she's asked, my daughter will be doing dual credit this up and coming school year and would like to attend an out-of-state HBCU. we heard that it would be pointless in doing so because it wouldn't count. So does either one of your institutions accept dual credit from Texas? I know we have Wiley from Texas, but we have Jackson State, and we also have Tennessee State. So if you ladies could talk about dual credit, and is it worth doing dual credit, and should students actually complete dual credit?
It's absolutely worth it to do dual credit, and Tennessee State, as a public university, does review dual credit work. Of course, it depends on what grade you received in the dual credit class, if it'll transfer in, but our records team reviews dual credit as well as AP, advanced placement, which is as well as IB, International Baccalaureate, as well as CLEP credit as well. So it would be in your best interest to submit that, as well as, even though we're test optional or test blind, if you submit your SAT and ACT scores, that'll exempt you from beginner level classes depending on the scores that you receive there as well. You know, at Tennessee State, your success is our success. So when you're successful and you have your great career, we're successful too. So we want you to get a quality education at a great price and get done as soon as possible. So I hope that answers it for TSU.
All right, what about Jackson State, Grim?
I agree. Ours is the same way. We do accept dual credit. All depends on the grade that the student receives. And of course, I know that we don't accept D's. They won't transfer over. Because I know some people transcripts, they may get credit for it, but we won't key those in. Also, too, we do accept AP courses, IB courses, CLEP courses, all of those courses like that for students. So definitely, you can tell, I guess the next person that tell you that about dual enrollment, that's just the milk, because we definitely accept dual credits, because other than that, I mean, how would we get transfer students and students that come from other places without accepting those dual credits?
Now, you mentioned AP, and I'm glad you did, because some parents are not familiar what the differences are between AP and dual credit. Generally, when you take dual credit classes, these are college credit classes. And so oftentimes either you will be taking those classes with an actual professor, or you will be taking those classes from a high school teacher that has been certified in order to teach that class on a college level. When you're dealing with AP, it's a little bit different, because technically the way that you get the college credit is by taking the AP exams. And so in order for you to get that credit, you have to have or meet a certain score on the AP exams. Do you guys have, at Tennessee State and at Jackson State, do you guys have a minimum score that the students must have if they take the AP exam?
That's a good question for our academic advisement team.
Okay.
So I could find that out on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, thank you, madam. What about Jackson State, madam?
I know a lot of times we're the ones that normally key in the transcripts and AP courses, IB courses, and all of that. We normally look for like a 4 or higher, sometimes a 3. All depends on where it's from, but definitely that.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Now, I do not want to leave out Wiley College, because they are in Texas, and so our school, high school, is in Texas. So, Ms. Wiley College, if you could talk to us a little bit about the process in regards to dual credit and AP classes with Wiley College as well. Is it really pointless for the students to do so, or do you feel that they should be taking dual credit or AP courses?
You know, not just with Wiley, but I would say with any institution, if you take AP classes, IB, or dual credit, that is a sign of rigor. And the reality of it is as a student, you want to position yourself to have as many options available as possible. Wiley College, we do accept those credits as well. You would just simply submit your transcript, and then our academic advisement team will review the transcript and will let you know specifically which courses you would take. I know you guys are out there close to Dallas, Community College, Lone Star, and I can tell you that those community colleges that your ISD is partnered with, Wiley has no problems accepting, and we do so all the time.
Thank you very much, madam. Now, Chaz and Big Mike, I'm gonna go to you, and I'm gonna be personal again, okay? Because I have a question in the chat from, I don't know if it's from a student or for a parent. And the question is, what is it like for first-year students in college? And so I want you guys to be candid. So, I know the real, I know the behind the music because I was there. So I know what y'all did. I know what y'all did and who you did it with. So please be candid when you are answering this question and let our parents and our students know what it's like to be a first-year student, or being at an HBCU specifically, what it's like to actually be a college student.
I guess I'll start us off. I would say just being a first-year college student in general is overwhelming because you have a lot of freedom that you wouldn't have had at home, and you're really responsible for getting yourself to class and waking up on time and getting to whatever else you have to do on campus. So I think that the first year is probably the most challenging because it's an adjustment that you have to make. No one's there to wake you up. No one's there to force you to go to class. It's all about you and how bad you want it. And if you want it, it's easy to get wrapped up in the party scene and having fun because it's college. Like you're partially there to get an education, and you're partially there to have a good time, if I'm being honest. And so the most important thing is to have a balance, because you don't want to go to college, spend a whole year in college, and then like flunk out, which a lot of people have experienced that. So I think the thing that you need to keep in mind is that although you have all this freedom, you are still there for a reason, and it's not just to party. So you definitely need to find a balance of like getting your work done, going to work, and also having a good time. You want to enjoy your experience at college. So the first year is definitely the most challenging with just the adjustments of being on your own and being responsible for yourself. And that just is going to prove you can either go the way of like, okay, I know what I have to do, and you're gonna get it right off the bat. And then sometimes you got to fall and bump your head a couple of times, and then you'll get it. But keep in mind that you're there for a reason. You're there for education. You're there to have a good time, but the balance is the key. So don't lose sight of that. Have fun, enjoy yourself, but also get your education.
Mike, what say you, sir?
Yeah, I mean, that first year is crazy. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a lot coming at you when you haven't really experienced a lot, I think the first year you learn so much, but I think that's a part of going to college and experiencing what you experience. Like that first year is meant for you to bump your head, but you got to realize that you have to stay on track at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, we can all party, we can all have our fun, we can all be outside till 2 a.m, 3 a.m. But I'm pretty sure everybody else made sure that paper was turned in at 7 a.m. as well. So it's a give and take. You got to make sure you just stay on point. I know you're going to slip. I know you're going to fall. I did it myself. But it's nothing to worry about. You all can all handle it. Just don't get too overwhelmed in the hype, because I promise you, it's just, for right now, it's a little exciting, but it'll die down and you'll find your place. Just be patient with it all and stay focused.
Thank you, sir. All right, for our admissions reps, I have another question that I think is very good. So we are in a pandemic still. And so as a result, then a lot of students have entered into college on last year, this year, and this is probably their first time in college, and they're either having to take classes online that they may not be used to. Have you ladies seen a big stark difference in regards to campus life and things of that sort since we are in a pandemic? And have you heard or talked to some of the students to know if they've had struggles more since we are in the pandemic on your respective campuses?
I'll take that one. At Wiley, I can definitely say that, our student life is definitely a little different. We are, an institution that can say that we have absolutely zero COVID cases. And the reason for that is that most of our students are kind of living in the bubble. And when you first arrive, they've been in the dorms. But now we have tons of different experiences and just student events for all of our students to go to that are safe. And we are still mindful of the pandemic. the other part of that is that, there have been mental health challenges. So if you feel like you need a licensed counselor to speak to, that's one of the amazing things that Wiley has to offer, is that we do have a full staff of just, mental health counselors who are there and prepared to not only meet the challenges of our students, but also do so in a manner that's confidential and that students walk away feeling that they have the necessary tools in order to persist.
Thank you, madam. TSU, Jackson State, what about you ladies? Have you noticed that there have been challenges in regards to the pandemic and how your students are responding? I think you're muted, Bria. Oh, now you're muted now, I'm sorry. Try it again. Yeah, I can't hear you. Okay, we'll fix it. Dr. Scott, what about you? And we'll get back to Bria.
Sure. So at Tennessee State, we did a safer in place policy for the first 2 weeks when students first arrived. And then after that, we started our typical first year experience and other programming that we offer students. Besides normal CDC guidelines of wearing masks and social distancing, we are a thriving, bustling community. And I mean, whatever HBCU you choose, I hope you choose the best one for you. I know Bria was muted, but I want to mention that I saw recently that Kevin Hart was on her campus. So, I mean, I know that even at Jackson State, they're also, a thriving community, and they are moving around, following CDC guidelines, but I haven't seen any HBCUs, including Tennessee State, not operating at our optimal capacity given the situation that we're all navigating, globally. Situation that is the pandemic. So.
Thank you, madam. And to that point too, I had another parent who was asking if the student and the parent wanted to come to your respective institutions for a tour. Are you guys doing face-to-face tours since we are still in the pandemic? And if so, I'm pretty sure they can go to the website and get that, and I'll be able to provide that information to them. But are you guys allowing for face-to-face tours?
Yes, we are at Tennessee State. What has happened with the pandemic is it's created more opportunities for us to connect. So in addition to our in-person tours, we now also offer virtual tours and virtual events like what we're doing right now. So every Friday at 11, we have virtual events. Every Tuesday evening, we have virtual events. Then we have our in-person tours Monday through Thursday. Then we have admitted student days and all kinds of stuff, and it's all on the website. So really, the pandemic has enabled us to be even easier to communicate with than before, because it's created even more channels and opportunities for us to get connected.
Thank you, madam. The other two ladies, in regards to campus tours, are they virtual or are they allowed to be face-to-face?
So we are allowing face-to-face tours only on Friday from 11 to 2. If you are interested, just simply send us an email at admissions@wileyc.edu, and we'll be sure to schedule that. The one thing that we do ask is that if you decide to come for an in-person tour, that you're also prepared to take a COVID test, and should you pass, it's a quick 15-minute process. We'll be more than happy to provide that tour for you on campus. And we are also doing virtual events as well. So definitely apply or send an inquiry card so that way you can be invited to our events as well.
All right, Bria, did we get you? Did we get you fixed?
Yeah,
we got you.
Okay, great. So we are doing in-person tours. We started doing them on weekends also too. But the thing about our in-person tours is you can go register for a campus tour on our website. That allows the people to pick dates that are available. You can do group ones, you can do family ones. We do request that they take COVID tests prior to coming to 72 hours, I think, prior to coming to Jackson State, and showing proof of that, emailing that in before you come on campus for a campus tour. And like Dr. Scott said, we do have events also too at Jackson State where we are doing like admitted students days. We recently had a series where we introduced the different academic colleges the students may be interested in, where the different head of the departments, different professors spoke about their specific department, the different majors within that and all of that, so students can see a little bit more about the institution before they actually attend.
Thank you. And while I still got you, Bria, one of the questions I have too is that, could you, off the top of your head, if you know, give just a brief list of some of your most popular majors?
All right, one of our colleges is our College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. A lot of people come to Jackson State for our STEM programs. It is very big, very renowned. We take STEM very seriously to the point to where our college that house those different majors is completely ran off of solar power. We have an earthquake simulation lab, flood simulation lab, and 3D printing lab for the students. So a lot of people come to our school for that. Our education majors are very big. Our social work program puts you on track to get your licensure. And we also have a school of social work. And our psychology program is very big too, to where our students can come in. It's intense also, let's just throw that out there. It's very intense where students come in and they can literally gain their bachelor's and master's in a 5-year time span because it's that intense. Also too, some other majors in our College of Business. One of our majors, like finance, is accredited by the same institutions like your Ivy League schools. JSU and Howard are the only 2 HBCUs that hold accreditation of that degree there. But definitely, I would say those majors. And we recently added 2 majors. We recently added entrepreneurship and sports media for our students.
Thank you, madam. Dr. Scott, TSU, what are you guys known for when it comes to some of your popular majors?
Biology, health sciences, nursing, agriculture, business. We have over 65 majors, and there may be some parents on here who might want to get a master's or a doctorate degree. We have those too. So we're not just here talking to people who want to get their bachelor's degrees. And then we have a lot of 2-time Tigers too. So people who get bachelor's and master's, and some who get their doctorate degrees. You know, our President Glenda Baskin Glover, is a graduate of TSU. So you might go to TSU and come back and be the president. So whatever program you want, we likely have it. And the top ones, again, are healthcare, business, biology, nursing, and agriculture.
All right, thank you, madam. Ms. Smith, what about Wiley? What are some of your popular majors?
Our popular major is criminal justice. Most of our students, they want to come, they want to have a really good impact on the social justice system. So you have the opportunity to pick 3 tracks within the major. You can either do the policing track, the pre-law track, or I'm drawing a blank, but it's 3 tracks in our criminal justice major, and they do have the opportunity to travel with that. The other one is our mass communications department, which, you know, we're also home to KBWC radio station, and we're taking some of those options virtually as well. And then last but not least, our largest major on campus is business.
Thank you, madam. Chaz, would you let them know what your major was? And Mike, would you let them know what your major is? While I pull up, it's been a while since I worked at Paul Quinn, so I'm going to try to pull up the list of popular majors there, but if you guys could tell us what your majors were.
My major was liberal arts with a focus in science.
My major was liberal arts with a focus in communications.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so the full list of degree programs, business administration, health wellness, liberal arts, as they talked about, in communication, in history, political science, math, and psychology. They have a legal studies and criminology program, also religious studies. And then they also have education. So if you're wanting to be a teacher, then Paul Quinn would be a good choice for you. Also, Paul Quinn is known as a work college. So every student that attends Paul Quinn will have a job, which is a great program that they have. So if you ever wonder or worried about your student being able to function as far as, so you don't have to send them money, they'll have their own job. You know, so they have an opportunity, and those jobs turn into internships and things of that sort. So just a little plug for Paul Quinn there. All right, so as I look at the time, it is 7:22. I had planned to be on here for an hour. Kind of like Liz Taylor told all of her previous husbands, I won't be with you long. So I just wanted to make sure that we got the information out to our parents. And parents, at this time, if you have any other questions for either our graduates or for our admissions reps, please make sure that you put that in the chat so that we can take this opportunity to ask. But while those are coming in, I want to say that I definitely appreciate all of these professionals for taking out their time. It's 6:30, so I'm pretty sure when we started that they were already off of their jobs. And so I definitely understand them taking their time. That means that they have a passion about what it is that they do. They have a passion about their institutions, and they are fully repping their institutions. And I want to start out and allow them to rep their institutions and talk about why their institutions are the best and why you should attend their schools. But as we all know, we are all a big family. And so it is love. No school is better than the other one. But we just want to make sure, like Dr. Scott said, that you choose the right HBCU that is for you. So I do have some other questions here. Actually, it's a comment, and this is from Ms. Tiffany again. She says, one thing as a parent, I feel more at ease hearing about the family environment, that her daughter is very active in cheering and track. And so she wanted to know that at your individual institutions, what is the environment as far as your social activities and things like that, and maybe some of your other programs, Greek life, things like that. How is that on your campuses? Is it live and thriving? And do you guys actually offer it at your universities or your institutions?
I'll take that one, please. I'm pretty sure for those who may not have heard of Jackson State, or if you heard of Jackson State, you know, on top of us being an educational school, we have a good time. During our homecoming, a lot of people that do not attend Jackson State, never attended Jackson State, just only heard about Jackson State, literally come for our homecoming and some of our rivalry games. We do have the whole Divine Nine on our campus. There's like your AKs, Delta School, SGROs, Zetas, Kappas, Omegas, all of them on our campus. We have over 60 different organizations on our campus that fits any group, but we also allow students to create their own groups just in case they feel like there's not representation for them. We allow that as long as you have a constitution and bylaws and members, you're more than welcome to create a group on campus. But we definitely do. On Wednesday, we have what is called a gospel hotspot on our plaza. And also on Friday, we have a regular, secular, say that, but anyway, but a regular hotspot where the students are out doing line dances, Greeks are strolling. Sometimes they have vendors out there selling different things, concession stands and all of that. Sometimes, and you can look up all of this on YouTube. You can literally Google JSU hotspot and you can see a lot of times the students, you probably seen a viral video where they were singing melodies from heaven. Like that one has circled the internet a lot of times. But yeah, we definitely have a good time here.
All right, Dr. Scott, TSU, what about you?
Yes, absolutely. I would say the same thing. We have all Divine Nine Greek lettered organizations. We have over 100 student-led clubs and organizations. We have Mr. and Miss TSU. We have student government. We have the Sophisticated Ladies. We have the best HBCU band in the nation, the Aristocratic Bands, a world-renowned band. Go to the school that's best for you. We're all a family. What else? And I saw a comment about dorms. Now is the best time to choose TSU because we just built a new health sciences center and we're building a new dorm. The only thing that's left on that dorm is to put windows and doors on it. So our students are going to move in August, and we've reserved some rooms for first-time freshmen. We're also building a new basketball pavilion. We're building a new alumni house, a new welcome center. And in Nashville, there's cranes all over the sky. I jokingly say that's the city bird, is the crane, because all over the city, buildings are being built, and that's no exception at Tennessee State. We're also building up here too. So please consider TSU, give us a try.
Ms. Smith, Wiley, what you guys got going on?
Wiley, definitely. I was a student at Wiley, and now I have the pleasure of working there. So I can definitely tell you from personal experience that the experience is just bar none, tons of fun. We have over 40 registered student organizations. And again, some of the oldest Greek letter chapters within the Divine Nine at Wiley College. What makes us unique is hands down our family-oriented environment. And we are affiliated with United Methodist Church. So we do pause every Tuesday to have chapel. And then it's just an amazing experience to worship with your classmates. So do we have fun? Yes. Is academics important in your success? Ultimately, what's important to us, of course, but should you decide to come to Wiley, I can definitely tell you that you will have a great time.
Chaz and Mike, you guys lived in a dorm, so tell us a little bit. That was a question that was brought up, is why do HBCUs have such a bad rep pertaining to housing? So did you guys have any issues when you were living in a dorm, or did you not like living in a dorm, or how was your experience?
Well, I like living in a dorm only because my friends were literally next door. Like, certain facilities sometimes are not up to par, but for the most part, I had hot running water occasionally. But I mean, there's ups and downs to the dorms. I mean, I feel like that's kind of like what you go through as being a underclassman at the time, is, you know, growing pains. But as the time went on, for the most part, the dorms was pretty okay. I enjoyed it because you don't even realize what's going on around you, because you're having so much fun with your friends right next door or down the hall or whatever the situation is. So
What say you, Chaz, in the female dorm? Well, y'all had co-ed dorm, so tell us what your experience might have been.
You can hear me?
I can now, yes.
Okay. I enjoyed the dorms. I definitely, for some reason, I was expecting some sort of luxury room. I got a reality check. It wasn't bad, but definitely not what I expected. But I did enjoy my time in the dorms, honestly. It's just like Big Mike said, with having your friends right there, like you're having so much fun that you don't think about what you don't have or why something isn't what you want it to be or anything like that. It wasn't anything major. I think you had running water, like you said, your lights turn on when you turn the light on. It wasn't anything bad at all. I enjoyed the dorms 100%. I would definitely recommend living in the dorms your freshman year for sure.
And Paul Quinn, they do have a lot of organizations that are there. They do have Greek life. They also had a gospel choir. I can speak on that because I was over the choir. And so we had an opportunity to sing outside of the campus, on campus. Kirk Franklin stopped by and actually led Melodies of Heaven with us and everything. So we had a good time while we were there. All right, so I don't see any other questions that are on here. So again, I want to appreciate everyone that took out their time to come onto this virtual panel discussion about HBCUs. This is not the last time that we will do this. What I will do is that I'm going to gather all the information, contact information from our admissions reps so that I can share that in our parent newsletter, so that if you guys have any questions or comments or anything that you might need, then you can reach out to them. All of these institutions that we talked about on tonight are good institutions. I would recommend them to any one of our DeSoto students who are interested in going to an HBCU. They are some that are out of state. Don't be afraid to go to an institution that's out of state. You are able to learn and have a lot of different experiences that you ordinarily would not get because you've left home, and not only left home, but you've left the state of Texas. So please make sure that you consider that. But in the meanwhile, make sure you're doing what you got to do so that you can get accepted into these great institutions and experience everything that they have. So Dr. Scott has dropped her information in there. But again, I'll make sure that I get all of that and put it in our parent newsletter. All right, so with that being said, this is just like church and we are family. So all minds clear. Listen, let's go. All right, thank you guys again. And I'm going to end it and everything else. Everyone have a blessed evening. Everybody stay safe and know that Jesus is the reason all the time, and all the time he is good. Thank you guys so much. See you later.